Alrighty, welcome back to What the Fork Stock Photo. Like last time, we're gonna try to come up with context for every single image here, if it's even possible. I'm not sure. Let's start off with number 19, Walking the Dead Episode 2, Bringing Home the Boyfriend. Okay. I mean, this is supposed to be some kind of hyperbole for you don't want your son or daughter to bring home questionable characters and start dating too young. So it could turn out to be a zombie like this. You never know. So make sure that you tell them from a very young age, don't go and do dating until you're old enough to know how to do dating. And I don't know when that is, but what? Why is she like this? She's like, Mom, not again. I mean, I've only brought home a couple of zombies in the last week. Like, Jeremy down the road, he's brought home like 5 zombies, okay? What about him? Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I know what they're going for, and yet, stop. Is this like a talk to the hands kind of thing? I'm thinking it's a talk to the hands, but person in the comments says one hand doesn't know what the other is doing. I guess so. Yeah, I guess they're like going in separate ways. Sort of makes sense or something like that. God, I don't want my hand to have an ear on it. That'd be weird. Cat snake. Maybe it's... Nope. I don't know what this would be used for, honestly, at all. Maybe it's some kind of video game boss character, but then I don't know why it'd be on stock images. It's inspiration for you in developing your new game. See, cats usually play around with snakes, and it's like the snakes would be prey for the cat, or vice versa. I suppose the snake could end up biting back at the cat, but this is combining 2 natural foes into one thing. Also, a cat hatching from an egg is kind of weird too. If you saw this in the wild, what would you do? Would you rather fight 1,000 snake-sized cats or one? No, that doesn't work, does it? Because snakes come in a lot of different sizes. You get like an anaconda, or you get like a little garter snake. Yeah. Woman riding glass high heels waits for cat at crosswalk. Alrighty then. Is that okay? There's a lot of Photoshop and composition and compositing post-production that's going on here, but I'm really curious if she is actually sitting in a giant glass high heel in this photo, and then they added the wheels and the handlebars and all that in post. Is she sitting in a giant glass high heel though? Because that would almost be better. Forget about the other stuff in this photo. Why is there a giant glass high heel anywhere in the world that you could sit in? That's kind of confusing. But then, just like, you had this photo, and you're like, you know what we should add to it is a cat crosswalk, and then also a stoplight that has cats on it. God, I just don't know. I'm failed to come up with context for this one. Why would someone purchase this stock image? This is on iStock. I have an iStock subscription. I could use this in the background of one of my Maron music videos. You know, maybe that'd be the way to do it with the Maron music channel, is just find the most bizarre stock images I can possibly find, and then throw them in the background, and people won't even pay attention to the song. They'll just be like analyzing the background image, trying to figure out where in the world it came from. Duck people in a waiting room. Well, I mean, obviously, this is the Affleck office, and these are all employees who are just waiting to be called in, or potential hires. This is a waiting room for a job interview for Affleck, and I hope that you guys get the reference, but otherwise, sorry, it fell flat. Alrighty, this one, fantastic, but I think we get demonetized. So we move along. The eyes of someone who's given up. Okay, so what this is supposed to be is he snores really loudly, and she has devised some kind of, I don't know, these are the sort of headphones that people on Tarmac outside, like guiding airplanes as they taxi on and off the jetway. Like, that's the kind of headphones that they use. She's like, this is the only thing to stop me from hearing My man's snoring. It sounds like a jet taking off, so I better get the proper equipment for it. All right, it worked. Now I just have to deal with sleeping with these on. Can't really sleep on my side. Guess I'm gonna have to resort to sleeping on my back. I didn't actually start sleeping on my side and back until like a couple of years ago. I always slept on my stomach. It was great. And then as soon as I started getting like muscles here from the gym, it started cutting off the circulation. And I would wake up and I'd be like, why are my arms numb? And it started happening quite regularly. And I decided that's what took place. And I can't sleep on my stomach anymore. Salad fingers versus human. I mean, okay. Benefit of the doubt here. This is supposed to be like a coral underwater. The coral just so happens to look like a creepy hand. And it's like shaking hands with nature, right? Promising to be good to nature. Either that or it really is actually supposed to be creepy salad fingers. I'm not so sure, but I want to believe it's the former. That sounds like demonetization, so we move on to casual Friday evening. Okay, that is real bad form. You don't point that at yourself, much less a very vital part of yourself. Why would you just point it there? Why do you set it down pointing at yourself? Don't do that. I realize that the odds of a ghost showing up and just causing it to discharge are quite low, but why point it at yourself? It's making me nervous. Don't do that, especially when you're in this state of mind. You don't look very sober, nor like you have much a coherent thought in your head going on right now. Maybe this is a police officer just got home from work. It was a real long day, in and out of the office, and you're like, it's time for a drink. I can't even be bothered to pivot my gun away from me, and that's that. Old lady holds the knee in pain. This would be more unsettling if it were like better photoshopped, because they just took an image of a woman with hands on her face and like feathered the edges and just put it on a knee. You can do better. There's a way to do this where it'd be just real unsettling. Like if you had a fold of skin that kind of bordered around the woman. Anyway, obviously this is the context is you would use this if you're trying to advertise that you have a new magnificent prescription that will treat knee pain. And or if you have a face growing in your knee, this will also treat that. Satan doesn't want you taking his chocolate. I mean, honestly, I don't want you taking my chocolate either, even though it'd probably be better for me if you did, especially because I'm doing like a fitness shoot. So I need Satan, can you come take my chocolate as well? Fortunately, I don't have any right now, but I'm sure I'm going to end up with junk food in my house at some point in the next few days. It always seems to happen, especially because my mom is baking things more now. It's kind of become her thing. Just lucky I moved out of the house long before she picked that up, or I would have been in trouble. I mean, it looks like Satan smeared a little bit of that chocolate on his face, too. I don't know what's happened here, my dude, but it goes in your mouth. I think, actually. I'm not quite certain how or if Satan eats, for that matter. But don't take his chocolate. Maybe it's like, okay, so the context for this one would be chocolate's actually really bad for you, and Satan's being like, no, don't eat it, which doesn't really make sense, because if it was bad for you, wouldn't he want you to eat it? So maybe it's reverse psychology. Maybe it's good for you and good for your soul, and he's like, no, but you don't want to have that because it's good. Overthinking it. Portrait of homeless housewife who irons a blanket in the road whilst she makes an important phone call. Well, I mean, do you know for sure that she is a homeless housewife? She could simply be preferring a day in the outdoors ironing clothing on the road instead of on an ironing board. The house could just be right over to the right. That could be her driveway. You never know. How dare you assume her home ownership status? She might have a tremendously fancy home, and it's just off screen. I find that quite offensive, and I'm sure that she does too. Also, I wonder how long it is until we come full circle on cell phones, and it's like, because we're already moving back to flip phones. Now it's like the foldable screen thing, right? But we're basically getting back to flip phones. So how long until we end up with a cell phone that's basically, it's just one of those spin dial old phones, and you just take it with you, put it in your car, you carry it in a purse or something, and it's like, we don't need all these additional things. Web browsing, don't need that. Just need a phone to make phone calls, all right? And you'll just carry that around. It'll be great. This one here is a classic. I don't know if we saw it in top posts of all time here, but I've seen it like a million times. But there's a but, so I'm worried about demonetization. So we move on to, I see your Satan with chocolates, and I raise you Jesus with a laptop. Well, I mean, obviously, this is supposed to say that if Jesus was here today, he too would appreciate good technology. He would not support using the old-fashioned phone. He'd be all about those newfangled flip fold screen phones that are $2,000. More expensive than that laptop, probably. That's the one piece of technology that doesn't get cheaper. It gets more expensive. Cell phones. It's weird. And you don't have the carriers to subsidize the cell phone costs anymore. It's like, people are going to be buying $2,000 phones. That's gnarly. Wouldn't have envisioned that at all. Woman in tropical shirt delivers a pizza in a sewer. I'm not sure where you got the tropical shirt part of this. Like, it's a shirt. She's not topless, but I can't see much of it, so I guess maybe you got better eyes than me. But this is, you know what, you would use this in order to advertise that, hey, we deliver anywhere. Are you the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Well, that's great. You too can get pizza in 30 minutes or less. We'll commit to it when Domino's copped out. Note the category. Adobe stock. The category is demonetized, and I think what's happened here is that mom is being attacked by an inanimate object, and the kid is real scared. Either that or the kid is faking being worried and, in fact, plotted this whole thing all along. Set up that pot on the top shelf and then triggered a whole Rube Goldberg machine so that mom would have it fall perfectly over her head and would end up like a cat that's put its head inside of a small bucket and doesn't realize how to get it off. Or a box. Oh, that's what I've seen. There's like a cat sticking its head inside of a long, skinny box, and the box gets stuck on its head, and it doesn't know what to do. It's the best. Sorry, I digress. But that's what this reminds me. Or the kid just thinks it's like a Halloween monster. That's like something out of a cartoon where someone ends up having something. It's like a Scooby-Doo thing. Someone has something fall on their head, and all of a sudden the rest of the gang thinks that they're part of the monster, or something like that. You know, the classic gag. Mom, if daddy is blue and you are red, why my brother is green? Okay. I just really want to know, is this an actual family that gets together and makes stock photos? I mean, I bet they could make some YouTube videos too. They could do some of the weird stuff that goes on the weird side of YouTube. Probably the sort of stuff that YouTube is in panic mode about right now with the whole comments fiasco and stuff like that. So, you know what? Maybe they adopted Green. It's very possible. I hope Green doesn't have to deal with that in school. Like, hey, Green, did you know you're adopted? This just got kind of dark, but anyway, maybe this is supposed to say that no matter what shape, size, color, whatever, we can all play soccer/football together. That's what this is trying to say, but I just really want to know if this is a family that actually, like, they take stock photos. That is how they make a living, dressing up in gimp suits with their children. And the top for the last month. I love you, but I love the insurance money more. Wow. Alrighty then. Gee willikers. That's a dark one, right? Yes, it is. That's a bit of a dark one right there. Oh my God. I think he skipped a couple of steps though, which are that, just when you give the ring to someone, there's nothing illegal behind it yet. You had to at least file the papers and go to the courthouse. So your whole plan really fell apart there. You jumped the gun. You didn't have patience. This is dark. Jesus Christ. Okay. Jesus Christ and a laptop. We, man. I mean, I guess someone had to make a stock photo for that sort of thing. Just kind of bizarre, the execution with the underwear and the wheelchair and... Okay, alrighty, that's it for the last month of What the Fork stock photos. I guess it lived up to the name. Make sure to like if you like. Check out the playlist in the description if you want to catch the last one, or just watch all the other videos on the channel. Subscribe if you're not already, and we'll wrap it up there. Music in the background, link in the outro and description over on Maron Music. See you next time.